To round off this sixth week, in terms of Israel, spotlighting at San Francisco, Jordan, that there is ongoing transition there. Senate, you would like to know one thing about correcting he who had actually put us to shame in transportation to the EFC ground. There was an investigation today.
Thank you. Like it's been said, they were all advisory and notes were taken, right? And he retired back into his office. And I think with all of the advice that has been given, the executive, they know what to do. And I think um, as we move on, Mr. President will make, his thoughts, and his views on all of that, right? He will make them known to the nation.
Very good. I admit with you for saying that in fact, and that you will make amendment. Better still, I wouldn't like to drag issue with you, but that you learn to do right, you seek justice, and defend your press, take up the curse of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow. We finally had a Greater Lagos on the 10th day, Friday 2023, of which the protocol of the constitution there had actually reduced the nation to 36 states, where the 37 states to match up the space is at the area of Cameroon, at a place called Asi. It returned the state back to 37. That's why I said, woe to those who quarrel with their maker, those who are nothing but potsherd. Among the potsherd on the ground does a clay, says to the potter, what are you making? Does your work say the potter has no hands? So therefore, every staffs are now on pension worldwide. That we can enroll a new division, there's no job anywhere on earth, with immediate effect. And last, the ICC declares by the Economic Financial Crime Court, EFCC, including all aspirants and candidates, the incoming administration are very, very here to indicate by a new constitution, constitutional party, which we say all around the world, God bless PDAPC. This political congress, I imagine, are those who are attending to the cause of justice of developing routes, infrastructural bankings and mining, and increasing of funds and restructures of funds and rebranding of funds, and then cleaning the dirty notes, and then doing the genesis mining, the global green are to take up the cause of the fatherless and plead case of widow. At this point, I am establishing the estimated global census. Better still, I have here to remind you that just yesterday I had signed an executive order that actually bring Buhari to a third term. It's going to be constitutional, it's going to be the Fifth Republic, because actually it was so sluggish and he did all best he can on the facilitation and management of presidential transitions. The new executive order put in place a legal framework for the seamless transitions of power from one presidential administration to another. It's very necessary that we understand that in this 6th week, all children of Benjamin gathered themselves, and then we have San Francisco, we have in Jordan, we have an establishment on the king, and then we are trying to create a Pentecost to Israel that is basically by the disciples and by Jesus himself. That all that he had done and carried out during his life, and at the time he ascended with 2 angels, are necessary that to be a Pentecostal where it's of all nations, where Ahmad fell on them and they were speaking in tongue. of the same voice you are hearing now should rather be a more prophetic voice. Definitely, next week we shall be looking at how the occupation policies are turning to a Supreme Court in Jordan. You can see that the word of the Lord will come tomorrow morning, Sunday, the seventh week beginning, which is going to be 12. And I believe that at that time there will be certain things to say of the same thing that we are uttering today. I would like to put in mind two things: the transition into a third time, and which is going to be 8 years straight. Although 1 year is gone out of it, and NASA has been there, day in, day out, right here. So therefore, Jesus is beginning to nourish us with the true bread of heaven, that we can fight for each other and then begin to understand that as God has blessed PDAPC, is a brand new party that is getting the transition together. The science of the multiplications of loaves, when the Lord says the blessing, and I said, brother still, God bless PDAPC. This breaks and distributes through its disciples, even everywhere in the world. Figure the super abundance of unique bread of his Eucharist, of which we believe should stop, and that we should begin to supply citizens good job and pensions and retirement fund. When we receive from the Lord tables, we unite ourselves to Jesus Christ, who make us all shares in his body and blood. Remember, there are other aspects in the constitution about this body and body which ended up people to begin cannibalism. To each people, the old Levites, as they boil people, roast them, and eat them according to their own belief. We are in the broad daylight religion of Chrismatism, and who make us share in this actual body. And that body is when we bring collective ideas and people run for the ballot, men and women. Call it the one bread that provides the medicines of immortality, the antidotes for death, and the food that makes us live forever in Jesus Christ. This supernatural food is healing for both body, soul, strength for our journey heavenwards. When you approach the table of the Lord, what do you expect to receive? Healing, pardon, comfort, and refreshment for your soul. The Lord had much more for us, more than we can ask of. Imagine the principal fruits of receiving from the Lord's table is an intimate union of or with Christ. With Christ himself, as bodily nourishment, restore lost strength, such as the Feast of Tabernacle. He has still given us opportunity, not just here at CBS, but also at the Feast of Tabernacle in the presence of the Lord worldwide, to create us and to be more firmly rooted in the love of Christ. This love actually empowers Christ, and then Christ yet is a power of God. Do you hunger for Jesus, the true bread of life? These actually are the things that brings you to the presence of the Lord. This year, we have got 12 times moving into the presence of the Lord, and God is choosing various angles across the world to call his own presence. Don't forget that he who had offended us so much in Lagos and put us to shame, I have got under my authority more than just a 1.569 trillion naira. In the Genesis mining, we are seeing more than 2 kobo. The money is coming up and naira is getting more balanced, and we got a lot. Many countries are looting in their own budgets that we can afford what we need to afford on time. Don't forget that Israel had got a new covenant with God, and it started with the occupation police and it's growing wild. Do you know what is called the G3? It is trying to bring itself together. Yet, find a Bible-based institution and give God the first place.